Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Now, a couple of days ago, I came across this story on my FYP, but at the time I was busy preparing for another video, so I think I forgot about it until this morning. This morning, I got a little update of that previous story I saw a couple of days ago, right? And the stories of this lady who went to a gym and she was in a locker room changing when she saw a man in the women's locker room, right? Now, I saw a whole bunch of clips with regards to that, and I also saw a lot of people sharing their thoughts and opinions about it. However, this morning, I found out some more details about it. So we'll get into her video and a clip of his video, and then we are going to get into what I found out this morning about this particular trans woman. Okay, well, let's get into it.
Gold gym, men, grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room, and that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. Today I was naked in the locker room. I turned around and there's a man there in boy clothes, lip gloss, standing there looking at me. I'm butt naked. So the first thing I think is maybe there's a worker in here. Maybe I missed a sign. I say the word sir to say, sir, what are you doing in here? He goes, don't talk to me. I'm a woman. I have a right to be in here. Immediately, I'm pissed because I'm butt naked. I feel violated. I feel like weird. Like I don't want to deal with this, right? So the girls are walking in and they're seeing the commotion and they actually chime in and say, yo, I don't know why he's in here. He's not supposed to be in here. And then I talk to the people that work at Gold's Gym and they don't really have anything to do. They just like, oh, we can file a report about it, incident report. What the fuck is going on? Like, listen, how can you say you're a woman or you want to be a woman and you don't care how women feel? That's nothing more manly than not giving a about how women feel, I'd like to think. And I get it, like everybody has their own things, and I don't want to say that I know everything about gay rights or trans rights. I'm a lesbian. I've been a lesbian my whole life. I treat people how I want to be treated regardless of whatever their sexual orientation is or whatever they decide. So I'm not transphobic and I'm not homophobic. I'm not straightphobic. I'm not racist. None of these things. I just believe in treating people how I want to be treated. Why do you guys think it's okay for men to be in the women's restroom? And like, when is the cutoff point? Is it like, oh, you cut off your penis, you can come in here? Why aren't women making the laws? And if you really want them to be safe and feel good, why don't we just make trans restrooms?
Well, first, I told the people that raised me that this is the way that I was when I was 8 years old, and really I stuffed it down pretty deep, and I began using hormones this year in February, and I actually relinquished that information to her about name change, and it says female on my ID and hormones, and I mean I'm registered as a female with the gym.
Well, well, well. The transgender who entered the girls' locker room in Gold's Gym in Los Angeles was previously Grant Freeman, a convicted felon who beat his wife, and when he became transgender, took his wife's name. How eerie is that? Alexis Black is their name, and his wife's name at the time was Alexis Freeman. He beat her so hard, quote, Kyle Grant Freeman caused serious physical harm to the victim. The victim suffered a compound fractured mandible, which resulted in her needing surgery, said the court documents from Hamilton Surgery in Ohio. They pleaded guilty in 2022 to savagely beating their wife, Alexis Freeman, causing a compound fractured jaw, among other serious injuries. Black had been convicted of both domestic violence and drug trafficking in the past and has faced a slew of other charges, including resisting arrest, the records show. So Tish Hyman, shout out to you. Thank you for standing up for yourself and all the other women in that gym, and you exposed a lot more than you think.
This is why so many women worry about these things, especially when it comes to the gyms, when it comes to women only spaces and so on and so forth. Because the thing is, so many men in this day and age, especially in these times that we live in, can come in there pretending to be people that they are not. Because the thing is, you never know. Someone can just walk in with their lip gloss and a wig on top of their head and claim to be transitioning and should be allowed to come into women's spaces, okay, women's locker rooms, and that is the problem. This is why a lot of women show concern when things like this happen. So this man, not only was he hitting his wife, he ended up in jail. He got out of jail, decided to transition, if that is true, I don't know, and then took the lady's name as his name. Hey, they say wonders shall never end, but they surely do end. Anyway, let's get in.
Would you want a trans woman in your restroom while you were getting dressed and you didn't know? There's no sign on there that says, oh, I'm a trans woman and I'm not going to be a threat to you while you're naked. So that was the situation with Tish Heyman and Alexis Black. Tish being she's a singer from LA. She was in a Gold's Gym and she turned around to see a trans woman behind her but hadn't fully transitioned. So all of the parts were out. It startled her and she proceeded to say this.
Drying up and oiling up, I turn around and there's a man in the locker room. And so, of course, I'm shocked. I'm like, I thought maybe I missed the sign and that there were workers working. So I just said, sir. I didn't even get to say a sentence or anything. I just was in shock and figuring out that there's a man behind me while I'm naked. And I say, sir. And then he goes, you can't tell me nothing, B word, I'm a woman. And
now, what I think is unfair is what Alexis Black had to say. And she said this.
I do not understand it, but I do get the notion of the fear mongering that she's perpetuating. The truth in the moment is far from what she is purporting it to be. Literally every time that she's done that, I've had women in the locker room comforting me because of how aggressive she was towards me.
My opinion is women need to be safe, and we need to be safe at all costs. I don't care about the Olympics. If you're a man, you need to be swimming with the men. If you still have that man strength, even if you transitioned, men are just stronger than women. I feel like if I take my clothes off, and I should not be around men who have still, or transitioning women who still have their parts. I mean, that's uncomfortable for me. Just because everybody wants to be in this new world, new society. It's the same thing that happened when they put the trans woman in the jail and everybody got pregnant. I've seen gay men say they don't want their girlfriends or the friends that they hang out that are women dancing up on them so that their tape can pop out or their genital area can pop down from being taped up there. So there's still feelings towards women that come natural as a man, gay, trans, whatever. I think that we should still protect women at all costs. And if this is such a big issue in the United States, there should be a trans restroom where trans women and men that agree on the same issues can use the restroom together. That's my opinion. And I believe that I'm siding with Trish, not Alexis, because I would know how I would feel if I turned around and saw a man. I would think that I was in the wrong place too. That's just how I would feel, and I would feel very uncomfortable. And I think that we should protect women at all costs.
Hot take, people avoid this topic because they're afraid of being labeled transphobic.
grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room.
Serious question of the day. Should biological men have access to women's locker rooms? Because this conversation isn't about hate. It's about safety and boundaries. The Gold's Gym controversy. I had a very similar thing happen to me. I had just walked into the women's locker room alone. It was late at night. The gym was nearly empty. The locker room was empty. Someone who had approached me earlier in the gym walked in right behind me and they lingered. And I just froze for a sec. I felt scared, and it wasn't because of who they were. It was because of the possibilities of what could happen. I grabbed my shit and left fast. I think a lot of women silence their instincts to avoid offending or upsetting someone. But that's how we end up unsafe. I can completely understand wanting a space where you feel comfortable. Everyone deserves that. However, how are we supposed to distinguish the difference between those who are truly transgender women and those posing as trans with other motives? We can support trans rights and still talk about women's safety. The two shouldn't cancel each other out. I don't have a clear answer for what the fix should be, but I do think her reaction came from a real place, not hate, just instinct. And that deserves to be understood, not punished.
As someone that frequents the gym and has been in the gym and has trans friends, let me tell you something. Number one, they actually genuinely care about who they're around and who they're getting naked around, depending on what parts they have. And they also are very secure about themselves. They're very they don't want people seeing them, because they don't want people judging them, and they don't want to make people feel uncomfortable either. That's one thing about trans women and my trans friends that I've noticed a lot. Number two, that person seems like a groiper. That person has a domestic violence suit, like has domestic violence charges against them, and then took the person how do I explain that? Okay, so when this person, Alexis Black, went by the name Grant and was presenting to the world masculinity, he caught a domestic violence charge against his girlfriend then, Alexis, and then took her name and transitioned after going to male prison. It gives fetish. Like, you don't have to walk around women don't walk around the women's locker room with titties and see an ass out. I would be shocked to see some balls. Bitch, I've dropped my mouth when I see Grammy drop her towel. I've seen grandma drop that towel in that locker room. Put that shit back on, bitch.
There's no other way to say this except for extremely blunt. Women do not want men in women's spaces. No ifs, ands, or buts. We never did. We never will. I don't know how it got to this point. There has been a time shift in this country where everything's changing. Definitions of words are changing. Illegal means legal now. I don't know what's going on, but we don't want this. And we don't need to give you reasons why. You can just say, okay, and you can walk away, and you can get your state senators and your representatives in your area to advocate for better laws and put more bathrooms out. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. My problem. And other women want to feel safe in locker rooms and bathrooms without fearing that a man could be standing on the other side and could be waiting to stare at us naked. So insane, you guys. So insane that we're the bad people. We're the transphobes. We're racist, white, fascist, Nazis, whatever the guys call us. It's not even that. We just want to shit, pee, and change in private. It's not rocket science.
I'm a Black Gen X lesbian woman. And I want to chime in on this Tish Hyman and Alexis Black debate. I've been out since the 90s. I have a bunch of transgender friends that I love. With that being said, I'm riding with Trish on this situation. And let me explain. I do not want to see in the women's locker room at a gym. I don't mind seeing a trans woman in the women's locker room at the gym. I don't mind seeing a trans woman in the women's bathroom anywhere. I just don't want to see her dick. I don't want to see anybody's dick without consent. It doesn't matter if the trans woman is clockable or not. I don't want to see her dick. That should be clear. It doesn't matter if I'm a lesbian, if I'm a straight woman, or whatever I identify as. If I'm in the bathroom, I don't want to see a dick. I don't even understand why it's a debate. If she was transitioning, she should have had that tuck. She should have had that covered. I don't even know why it was out. If it was out, then she was in the wrong bathroom. Period. Because dicks don't belong in the woman's bathroom. That's a no-dick zone. And if there is a woman that was born with a dick, because there are some women that are born with both, okay, she's allowed in there. But it was apparent that that person wasn't that woman. And Trish was right to feel offended. And can we have a space where we feel safe? That's it. That's all. Can women have one space, one place where we feel safe? Can we please? Just one place? The bathroom, the locker room, where we feel safe. So if you coming in there, just tuck it, hide it. That's it. That's all we ask. We just don't want to see it. We're not saying that you're not welcome. We're just saying we don't want to see it. That's all.
I was there and I saw it play out from beginning to end. And I think it's a great moment to say, as a gay man and as that woman, a lesbian woman, that we are also sick of people putting us in the same category with people that probably are mentally ill, because that's not a woman. And I know I will get a lot of backlash for this, but it's true. We are tired of being put in the same category as them. Let me explain you very basic the difference between being a gay and a non-binary. I like black chocolate, right? I like black chocolate. I don't like white chocolate. I like black chocolate. But these people I am a chocolate. So while gays, they like something, non-binary, they feel something. Very different things, right? So I don't think this woman got her membership revoked because of transphobic, because she was not transphobic. That was not a trans person. That was a man in a woman's locker room. I don't care what he says. That's a man. You can claim that you feel like a woman all you want. You are not a woman. You're not even a trans woman. I don't think she got her membership revoked because of the transphobic comments, because there was none. I think she got her membership revoked because she was literally having she was going very mad for a full hour, screaming to the staff. Understandably, she felt very violated, and the staff, because they gotta follow some social whatever, they cannot do anything if the person is saying, I represent as a woman, even though it looks like a full of men. I could go like this to a woman's locker room and be like, I'm a woman. And sadly, the businesses, they will see their hands tied. They will not know what to do. And that's not okay. They need to be set up rules or guidelines to be like, I don't care what you say. You need to, I don't know. It's very complex. It's a very complex situation. But yeah, I wanted to take this opportunity. I do not sign up for that either. That person, maybe a gay man, I don't know. But the non-binary bullshit that happens here in the brain, we don't sign up for that. That lesbian woman that is putting this entire thing on display, and I guarantee you 95% of the gay community do not support the non-binary bullshit.
Yeah. When Natalie B Fitness came out with her all women's gym initially, and she changed it to a women's only gym at the time, I remember people were coming for her left, right, center. But this is why she did that. This is the exact reason why she did that. Because she can't, how can you tell? You can't tell. At least this one you can tell. And the other thing is, I saw a lot of people saying, the Tish lady is the one that looks like a man, and if she enters so many places, they're going to tell her to leave. But she's a woman. Okay? Why are you swinging your thing in a locker room naked? It doesn't even make sense. And then on top of that is a woman's space, and you are walking around with your thing dangling everywhere. What's the point? If you say you like women and you want to join the group, then, at least show a bit of empathy towards them. Like, how are they going to feel if they see you like this? But it's like you don't care. And that is where everyone is coming from. Because if you cared, you will cover up. You do something about it. Yes, it's true that you're transitioning. Yes, it's true that you're going through it. But then, at the same time, consider the other people around you. But this is the reason why so many women are advocating for women's only spaces, to avoid things like this. So whenever you see a woman talking about they wanting women only spaces and so on and so forth, these are some of the reasons why, because you never know. Yeah, but a part of me understands why he would do that. I mean, if you are a man and you were married to a woman and you didn't care putting your hands on that woman to the point that you injured her, you ended up in jail, only for you to come out and take that same woman's name and use it for your gym registration and go by that name, Why would you care for women? Do you understand me? At that point, you don't really like women so much. You know, you don't mind being a woman, but you don't like women. It doesn't even make sense. It's crazy. It's so crazy. This story is insane. But this is why women feel the way they feel. Okay, because you never know what kind of a person you're going to encounter in a supposed women's only space, who is claiming to be a woman when he's so many other things, or can be so many other things. This is scary. Okay, this is scary. I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to see you in another video. Take care of yourselves and one another, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Bye.